Hello, I'm Peter Greer, an 80-year-old lawyer and lifelong activist. I've joined forces with ADDI to help finish the unfinished business of the civil rights movement. That is, to achieve economic justice through the economic liberation of Africa and Africans worldwide. If you like what we're doing, please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast channel and join ADDI. Here with my co-host Gary McCants and two outstanding guests in the persons of Shana Henderson and George Buffo. George is our guest from Ghana. Shana is moving to Ghana, and Gary and I are trying to assess the business opportunities that await Black folk worldwide in the motherland. As we get started, if you would, please like our video, share our video, subscribe to our channel, and leave comments, because as we get started, there are lots of things that we do not know that we want to become aware of and expose our listening and looking audience to. So with that being said, George, how about introducing yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself, your education, your profession, and your work history. Thank you.
So thanks for having me, and a very good morning. I hail from the central region of Ghana, particularly in Salt Pond. I had my secondary education in St. Augustine's College, that is also in Salt Pond, one in Cape Coast, one of the very best you can have. I proceeded to, after my sixth form, went to Kumasi Technical University. I from there went to University of Professional Studies. It used to be in Institute of Professional Studies then. And after that, I started working with the bank. Um, I held various positions from a relationships officer to the public relations. I proceeded from there to, or I transitioned from being a banker to being a media person. I managed a couple of media outlets in the central region of Ghana, chief among them was Tinka FM and Right FM. I then got elected as a board member for the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, and I served on the board for 8 years. During that time, I also got nominated onto the board of the National Authority. Part of the experience that I acquired, I was then doing another media project on TV3 Ghana, and it's been running for the last 13 years. And it was my baby, actually, and we tagged it Ghana's strongest. The whole idea was to take these strong men.
There's not necessarily a priority to have high quality internet service. So that's one of the things, as you know, we're going to go talk about economics and opportunities. You know, having locally managed internet and network services versus systems that are being brought by
That is a
European
bit of a challenge.
connections. So yeah, seems like he's back.
Okay, George, continue.
Sorry. Um, I had a bit of a technical hitch, but I'm back now. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry about that. All right. I don't know at what point that I left um, or I went off. So can I be reminded exactly as to where I went off so I can start from there, if it's okay with you?
Sure. The first thing you were talking about, as I recall, was your involvement in the media industry over the last, I think, 18 years.
I can hear you complete. I can hear you.
Do you understand where you left off last time at 18 years in the media?
Okay, so exactly back to the point. I was doing a show, and it's still running. For the last 13 years. It's my baby. I mean, we target Ghana's strongest. It is akin to what happens in the world's strongest man. The whole idea was to take all these strong men of the streets. A lot of these strong men in Ghana are just involved in menial jobs. And chief among them is that they are happen to be bouncers, they happen to be land guards, and don't have the needed respect that needs to be accorded them. So we give them a platform for them to showcase what they have, and ever since they have been elevated onto an appreciable pedestal, and most of them have been able to land jobs, and that's then um, um, speaks to the fact that after that I decided, okay, let me come up with this security network company called Unique Escorts, and to get these honks, for want of a better word, to get them something to do to also look at the diasporans coming into the country, and help them with little things like escorting and bodyguarding, and things that has to do with security and safety. So that has always been something I've been doing for the past 13 years as a media person. Then I then decided to set up my own company that has to do with GFV Consults. And principally, what we've been trying to do is to get our brothers and sisters from the diaspora, get them to understand the culture of Africa, get them to register businesses, which I've been very instrumental in doing, and also letting them avail themselves to areas where they can also, empower themselves economically. So largely, I've been doing a consultancy job for our brothers and sisters in the diaspora.
Thanks.
I'm here.
Okay, well, okay, I'm going to Gary now and see if he wants to pose any questions to you.
Yeah, I do, and thank you. And George, pleasure meeting you. I want to jump
Same
right
here,
into
Gary.
absolutely. I want to jump right into the heart of business opportunities as it relates to all the nations and countries in Ghana. What is the easiest way to create the kind of relationships we need politically and economically to begin the transition of trading resources, intellectual capital, so on and so forth? That seems to be one of the sticking points as it relates to attempting to do business in Africa.
Right. Okay. So I would say this: politics plays quite an important role when it comes to big businesses, right? But then I keep advising a lot of my clients that why would they be looking at that? Because then, if you are linking yourself up to a politician or a political regime, then it so happens that when that happens and they are off, as in the fact that a new regime that comes to place through elections, then might be targeted. The word is might be targeted. Because, for instance, if you got your business operating during this time through maybe a political figure, or you politicize yourself, all right, in terms of you getting business, then it will be difficult for you when it so happens that the next regime comes. So I keep advising most clients that they should come in with their, clear-cut vision and mission, and then get a very neutral person to aid them to be able to elevate themselves to wherever they want to get to. All right. That said, the first step is you registering your business in Ghana.
Okay.
Was the first step. All right. There, of course, there are, categories to them. In this case,
George, would you do that? Would you do that through a business organization in Ghana, or would you do that through some government entity? I mean, how would you do that?
I think that I have the clout to be able to go help you go straight to register that without you necessarily going through any business, any government entity. No,
Okay.
you don't have
Okay.
to do that.
Can I speak to that a little bit?
Please, by all
Go
means.
ahead.
So the first step is building the right relationships with individuals, and once you build those relationships with individuals, they can walk you through or handhold you through the processes that you have to connect or go through the
Or
the
walk
regular
you through the corridors
offices
of power.
and the administrative
Hi.
offices. But as a diasporan, you need those relationships to help you through that process, because if you go through that process on your own, then there's a lot of blind spots and a lot of places that you may not be aware
I mean,
that you
Shayna,
can
just to add
avoid.
to what you said. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, just to add to what Shayna said, things are not as standardized in Ghana, in most part of Africa, like it is in the States.
Okay.
Okay. And when I met Shayna, I mean, 5 years ago, we have been going back and forth, and I was like, Shana, you must understand, all right? This apparently happens to be the case. So, like Shana did say, if you get the right person, it is not a matter of the person driving his way through, but just the person, showing you the way so that things will be pretty smooth for you in acquiring the um, the right documents to initiate whatever businesses you intend to do. Like you said, okay, let me just give you a just typical example. If you so happens to be a foreigner, right, and you want to do any form of business, there is a share capital that needs to be made available or deposited, all right, and
Right.
and that it's anywhere around 250,000 US dollars.
Okay.
Okay, if it's going to be foreign owned. So usually advice is that for you to be smoother for you, then you get a Ghanaian to help you front this, or an African to help you front it. But in this case, if it's in Ghana, then a Ghanaian. Okay, then it makes it easier for you not to come up with all the initial capital of about 250,000 USD. I mean, but of course, if it is something that is much bigger and it's a million, then that's fine, right? But so these are the little things that you need to know. So then it so happens that, right, then you have a partner with Ghanaian, and then of course your share capital would be far less, right? So
Okay.
that's smoother for you to get your documentation early and also to start on a better footing, because then you also have quite an amount, depending on what area you intend to delve into. Um, it makes it easier for you to start. But like I did say, getting the right people for them to help you navigate your way through is the best thing. And if you are sure of the area you want to get into, getting you the right technocrats so they would be able to give you the proper advice. And these are some of the things that I do. I mean, for instance, with GIB Consult, a lot of people come in and they're looking at real estate. Okay. So I'm able to put together as part of the whole package when they come down, a real estate mogul. I mean, one of the best architects in the country, and those who matter. All right. To sit you down and really talk to you about what is the right thing for you to do, irrespective of whatever amount you want to enter into the country with. That's
Okay.
it.
Thank you.
So jump in right quick, and I'll make this very short. A friend of mine, she came through and she wanted to start. She wanted to register a business, and I linked her with GFB Consults, and she pretty much gave him an outline of what she wanted to do, provided all of her information, and gave him all her personal documentation necessary for the business to be registered. And she went back home to Oregon. By the time she returned back to Ghana, all of her documentation and everything was completed. Her business was registered. Everything was done through GFP consults. So that's kind of like why I suggest and I recommend that people make sure that they make good relationships and work through, through local citizens to help them through their processes. Because if you come as a foreigner on your own, then it may take you a year and a half, 6 months to a year and a half to get a business started. Whereas it took her less than 3 months, George.
Yeah, it was 2 months, Ali. It was 2 months.
Peter, I'm just trying to understand the realistic expectations of doing business and not be able to, let people know that you can just automatically jump in. This is still a business transaction. Even though you got to create relationships, you find someone like George who's on the ground, it's still business. So you have to be real about how we're going to make impact and create those kind of partnerships between, the two nations and the diaspora, that this is still a business transaction and you're going to have, resources and dollars in order to make entry. And so people need to understand that. And that may be an easier way to begin the conversation on what are the how-tos to do XYZ as you relate to Ghana or Nigeria or wherever, South Africa. I mean, it's going to be the same thing over and over again.
Yes, listen, I think we need to go a little longer today because of the internet disruptions. And I want to ask George a different kind of question and get his feedback on it. George, are you familiar with Dr. Eric Connor and the
Yeah, I mean,
tell us what you know about what she's doing and what you think about it.
I think that what she's doing is brilliant. I mean, every time I get to hear her speak, it intrigues me the more because of her bravery, that uncommon valor that she has, and for her to have been able to transition from the medical field, all right, and then trying to do what she's doing. Much more importantly, that's, integration to make people more prosperous, has to be, it's fascinating. I believe that as far as Ghanaians are concerned, we need to feel that impact much more. We get here talking and all that, but I believe that whatever needs to be implemented, maybe I'm not privy to all that has been rolling, but I don't get to see things on the ground to relate to whatever her vision and her mission is. But I really adore her, and I think that she speaks about the truth and the fact that she's looking at the developmental issues when it comes to those in the diaspora and those in the motherland. I think that is something that is really worth mentioning.
Let me ask you another question. One of the things, I'm a member of the ADDI, the initiative founded by Dr. Eric Connor. And one of the things that we're trying to do, we're working on, is mobilizing Black students. Are Black students engaged in activism? I'm a person of the 60s, and I was in college during the civil rights movement. And I think we need Black students to do another Black student movement. Any initiatives involving students that you're aware of going on in Africa generally, or in Ghana more specifically?
Can I to that?
Please, Jay, by all means.
Okay, so there's a very, very large push for HBCUs to connect with African universities and initiatives in the country of Ghana and West Africa in general. Howard University is very active in activities and initiatives. The president has been several times. I left in October, and I think he was either in country or coming in country at that time. So there's been several missions that the HBCUs have collectively brought to Ghana to do like a partnership or collaboration between some of the universities and some of the organizations there in Ghana. And there have been a lot of alumni organizations as well. The D9, the Greek fraternities and sororities are very active in the area. They are developing chapters in multiple countries. I know there was a few groups that went to Nigeria last summer, a couple of times actually. So they're trying to expand, mainly in the English-speaking African countries on the West Coast. But there's a lot of initiatives, a lot of programs that are being developed. So there's room to grow in that area. There's networks to be built or to continue to expand upon.
Thank you, Steve.
Before you close out, because one of the things I think the trading between the two nations and people, I always want to understand the resources that are in Ghana and Nigeria and South Africa and the Cameroon. What resources are available in those countries to help recruit Black American companies to the region? Are there resources available? And really, that may be the next topic of discussion, to really attract some of those companies to really invest and move there. Can you incentivize the process to help do that? Because I know there are resources there.
So with that being said, again, if you like what we're talking about, if you appreciate what we're about, please give us a like, subscribe to our channel, sign our notification bell, and leave some comments. We want to know what you think, what you suggest, because what we're doing is we're setting out to economically liberate Africa and Africans in the diaspora. And with that said, I'm going to conclude this session and invite all back for our next session. Thank you so much.